What is going on, YouTube? Glad Envy here, and I am so happy to announce that we have been accepted into the TBU. I know it's redundant, the Battle Union. We're not accepted to TBU. See, it doesn't. We're just gonna move on. Okay, we're gonna move on. But this is my draft analysis. I feel like I've done a pretty okay job keeping my acceptance here under wraps until the big day was revealed and the draft was accomplished. So, I invite all of you to help me lavish in this. Just to watch me. JK, you can't see my face. Ha! It's one of the only videos I don't have a face cam going. But it doesn't matter because I couldn't fit it. And also, I want to point this out. Props to my graphics artist, the Flying Bird, who is just the best. Best guy ever. Go check him out. It's a cool dude. One of my favorite Australians. Anyway, we're going to get back into this. We're going to get back to my draft analysis and just do a whole bunch of fun stuff. Now, I'm going to warn you ahead of time. There were a couple redrafts. My original team had about 6 or 7 ice weeks. We didn't want that. That's bad. You don't want any more than, like, 4 of the same type weaknesses, as my NPL team has about 5 ground weeks, but we don't talk about that. But we're gonna get into this. I have wasted enough of your time, but this point system, I was not at all even close to ready for this point system. My original first pick was Kieran Black. Screwed my whole team up. I was just could not work around that expensive of a mon. So in our redraft for Kieran Black, we picked up Mega Sableye. See, usually people get hyped about that. Like, Mega Sableye, awesome. Like, so tanky. You got Combine set up. You got first turn Prankster, Magic Guard. Awesome. I hate Mega Sableye, man. I hate this thing. Now, I only say that because I have, like, no experience with Mega Sableye. I rarely fight them. When I do, I have a fairy with me. The few times I've used it, I failed miserably. But between drafting and week 1, I feel like I've gotten enough practice with it to say that I can kind of use it. I'm not going to call myself proficient in it, but you know, it's a thing now. We have a Mega Sableye, but on a real note, it was actually my 4th choice of a Kieran Black replacement. I don't hate Mega Sableye. Originally, I want to make it Absol. Got taken. Everything else I wanted got taken. I didn't look at the sheet. That's my problem. It's what happens. We're past it now. We have a Mega Sableye. Magic Guard's pretty cool. Combine set's pretty cool. Mega Sableye does have a lot of really fun stuff. I feel like doesn't get used enough because all of its fun tech is really overshadowed by its amount of sheer bulk. Now, don't take that as me saying it has a high HP. It does not have high HP. And that's okay. You don't need high HP to make a Sableye. You got a big gem. You got a big gem, and we're all okay with that. Just keep being pretty. But no, Mega Sableye is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to actually try to use it and probably fail miserably, but it's okay. Anyway, on to pick number 2. Something I'm very proficient with. We picked up Zapdos Thunderstruck coming in the house. I love this bird. I love it, love it, love it. Zapdos is probably one of my favorite mons in this format just because you've got the defensive sets, you've got the offensive sets, you've got the setup sets. There's no what Zapdos can do. Plus, it gives us a round 2 defogger, which is never anything to frown upon. Zapdos doesn't have a single bad stat. Trust me, I've used it. Even physical Zapdos is a good time. Oh, I love physical Zapdos. Rocking some U-turn. Rocking some Drill Peck. It's even Wild Charge. It's so much fun. Zapdos is its versatility is really going to come in handy this season. I'm feeling it right now. But oh, Celebi. Celebi. Our third pick. A mon that I've really learned to love over time. It's basically, in my opinion, a worse. It's a pretty solid mix between Mew and Shaman. I don't know why I almost said Shayram. That's not even a name. Not even a mon. Shaman. We got the little weird hybrid of Mew and Shaman in the Doctor. That nice little onion fairy. You have base 100 stats all across the board. Access to Baton Pass. Access to Swords Dance. Nasty Plot. We got Lead Seed. We've got Parasong. Celebi does it all. Celebi does every single thing you'd never expect any other mon to be able to do, all in one weird psychic grass onion concoction. I love Celebi. Like, TBH, my favorite legendary right here, and I hate grass types. So, probably the only grass type I'll draft ever, outside of Leavanny. But, anyway, Celebi's going to be a lot of fun. I feel like Celebi's going to help a lot with Mega Sableye. I don't know why I said that. I meant the reverse. Mega Sableye is going to help a lot with Celebi. Unfortunately, with our 3 mons, we already have 2 Ice Weeks, which I'm really not a fan with. So we are going to move on to our Ice Resist, which is going to be Rotom Heat. You fired. Oh god, I feel so awful making a Trump reference. You know what? I'm not getting into politics. This is not the time. This is not the place for this. Let's just continue with nice little Rotom Heat. I like Rotom Heat. Really don't have too much experience with it, but I've seen it work. I've had a lot of mocks using it, and it's a pretty fun little dude. If you haven't seen my Week 6 video with Trev, please go check it out. You get to see Rotom Heat put in some work. But Rotom Heat's going to be a lot of fun. Access to Overheat. Really wish it was Flamethrower. Really wish it was Fire Blast. But it's Overheat, so whatever. Really great Scar. Anyone who's used a Rotom knows what Rotom Heat does. We have 1 weakness in Rock. Ground if my opponent's using Gravity, but please don't do that. Like, don't be the guy who brings like Gravity Lando T. Like, I don't want that to happen. But Rotom Heat's a lot of fun. We have some pretty decent special stats, plus some solid physical defense. Speed isn't terrible. It's a great Scarfer. Great trick user. And no Rotom Heat's throwing out a weak Volt Switch. I tell you what. This thing's going to pack a punch. Even access to fun stuff like Hex. I see Rotom Heat being used a pretty frequent amount. It really does help cancel out Zapdos and Celebi's Ice weakness. However, it does give us another Rock weakness, which is not really okay considering... you know what? It's kind of okay. Mega Sable's got Magic Guard. Zapdos has Defog. Everything's looking pretty good. We have 2 electric types so far, but it doesn't really matter all that much. Electric only has 1 weakness, and neither are affected by ground types, so that's awesome. Anyway, we are going to finish part of our Fire, Water, Grass core, potentially, with Mr. McCroak the Greninja. Oh, I love this guy. Unfortunately, this is Torrent, so we won't have the that nice Protean perk, but Greninja is real, just Needle Burrito. It was actually on my very first Gen 6 squad, matching up pretty nicely with Infernape, so I would consider myself very experienced with Greninjas. I have a lot of fun using Greninjas. Between the Suicide Lead Spike Setter to the Mixed Attacker to just doing fun stuff. Greninja's really fun. Again, it is not Protean, so it's going to be a little lackluster in the damage department, but at the same time, it's still a Greninja. It's still got 122 base speed, over 100 special attack, and its physical attack really isn't too shabby either, especially with the ability to pivot, which, by the way, we have 5 mons so far, 4 of which pivot. Get at me. It is going to finish, well, it's going to help finish off our Fire, Water, Grass core, as well as cover up some stuff. some stuff I had originally thought of and now do not remember. So we're going to forget that I said that and move on to our 6th pick. That is Weezing, 2 packs a day coming through. Weezing coming in. Now, I love Weezing. Originally, I wanted Mega Absol instead of Mega Sableye. And I figured, yo, Weezing pairs up really well with Mega Absol. We don't have that now. But that doesn't mean that Weezing still doesn't pair well with Mega Sableye. So, and it gives us another Toxic Spike user. If you haven't noticed yet, I love setting some hazards out. But Weezing is a very nice tank. The Destiny Bond nerf is going to hurt it a little bit, but we still have access to Will-O-Wisp, still have access to Pain Split, and we still have a surprisingly good move pool in Weezing that not too many people touch up on, so I'm going to keep it a little under wraps for now. I don't know if or when I'm going to need to use that, but Weezing's a lot of fun. I personally have never used one, but I've seen them used. I'm not going to say I've researched Weezing. That makes it sound like I sat there, looked up its whole genealogy, biology, where it's from, what it does. No. I looked up some fun sets with Weezing, mixed and matched a little bit here and there, gave it little test matches after the draft. So I think Weezing's going to be pretty valuable to this team. It's going to be a lot of fun. Some good times. Really, again, going to help cover up Sableye's fairy weakness there. Going to help cover up Greninja's fairy weakness there. And again, we have a 3rd Mon who is immune to ground type attacks, which again is awesome. I don't like EQ spam. I don't want EQ spam. Get it away from me. Don't want it. And at the same time, giving Weezing only one weakness that both Greninja and Mega Sableye can be immune to as well. So this synergy is going to be pretty juicy so far. Speaking of poison types, let's go on to pick number 7. That is Jelly Belly the Tentacruel. Look at this. Look at his eyes. Look at how mean he is. He's so unhappy to be drafted here. He was like, bruh, how am I not your first choice at a poison type? Get away from me, man. Now, I love Tentacruel, though. I used to run that thing for days back in old school UU. The Specs Tentacruel, that was my deal. 3 attacks and Rapid Spin. But Tentacruel is also going to be a lot of fun. Basically just going to be Weezing, but on the special side for the time being, I guess, until I find some crazy fun stuff to do with it, which don't get me wrong, we're already in the making. Again, this is our 3rd Toxic Spike user, and now we have a Defogger, a Magic Bouncer, I said Magic Guard, I meant Magic Bounce, and a Rapid Spinner. Tentacruel is also coming with that big fat special defense, and some really nice speed, to be honest, for a tanky Mon. And his special attack, again, really isn't too bad, especially paired off with Acid Spray. So Tentacruel is going to be a lot of fun, and its ground weakness is balanced out very well by Weezing, Rotom, and Zapdos. Also Celebi, who resists ground. Wow, man, ground is not going to be loving this team, and I'm happy with that. And again, I hate EQ spam. I'm happy to not be dealing with that. Psychic weakness covered by Greninja, Mega Sableye, Electric weakness covered by Celebi, covered by Rotom Heat. Tentacruel is going to have a great time here. I love Tentacruel. And again, we have another Fairy Resist, which is really going to be helpful. Now, for those, I'm going to segue for a minute here. Those of you who aren't familiar with the TBU, first of all, get familiar with it, because this season is going to be off the hook, yo. But no, it's going to be a lot of fun. Essentially, we get 12 Mons total. The first 8 are our initial squad. The first 8 is our initial squad. The squad that we look and see, okay, this is who I'm playing. This is their squad. The 9th Mon is the viewer pick, which you guys have already done, so you probably know if you've been keeping up with the polls. And Mons 10 through 12 are our quote-unquote bench picks. Now, each week, we are able to exchange one Mon off the bench with a Mon on our squad, which is, it really just changes a lot of stuff up. It's a lot. I can't wait to utilize bench bonds. I can't wait to see how other people utilize them against me. It's I've been watching the TBU for a while, and it's just so much fun. For those of you who have been keeping up, I believe we removed restrictions on this. So each week we get one bench swap, which again is really going to bring up the amount of inventive, competitive necessity here, and I'm really excited for it. Anyway, let's get back on track. Our 8th pick, our final squadmon, is going to be Gamma the Aggron. Now, I looked at my squad and I was like, you know, I'm really lacking a good rock resist. I want a steel type. I really want a steel type, so let's grab something that can really just cover a rock resist, cover a steel typing, and I want a physical wall breaker. I want something that's going to be able to just shatter things. So we decided to go Aggron. Now, I love me some Aggron. You don't even know. Again, our ground weakness is covered by 4 of our previous picks. Our water weakness is helped covered by 3 of our previous picks. That fighting weakness is covered by another 5 of our previous picks. Good lord. Aggron is going to do some pretty beautiful things here. I'm pretty comfortable with it. Especially that nice bandage set, nice scarf set. Aggron really just puts in the work. And I think, to be honest, it really just speaks for itself. Just as well, we do have access to every form of hazard now. That is Greninja with spikes, toxic spikes, Wheezing Tentacruel toxic spikes, and Aggron with stealth rocks, as well as Celebi with stealth rocks. So again, if you know me, you know I love my hazards. I want to put those things everywhere, you know what I'm talking about. But that is going to finish up our initial squad. Now we are going to move on to what you guys, the viewers, picked. And I could not, absolutely not be happier with this. For the viewer picks, if you were paying attention, if you weren't, that's okay, I'm not bashing you. But if you were watching, you'll see that our viewer picks were Kadabra, Murkrow, Haunter, Poliwrath, and Kangaskhan. Now I figure all of these mons I would be okay with. Some I would prefer over others, such as if you picked Haunter or Kadabra, I'd be a little like, yeah, you guys suck, I hate you. If you picked Kangaskhan or Poliwrath, I'd be like, awesome, get there, I love these things. But you picked Murkrow, and I am so happy with this pick, because I love Murkrow. I love Murkrow in the draft format, and I'll tell you why in one word. Prankster. And no, Murkrow does not get Prankster defog. That's been brought up too many times. I know it doesn't, I'm aware of that. It sucks, I know. But that is not why we use it. That's not why we bring Murkrow. Murkrow can do so many things with the Prankster ability. We have Prankster T-Wave, we have Prankster Roost, we have Prankster Combine, Prankster Feather Dance, all with the use of an Eviolite. I also want to mention that we also have Prankster Mean Look Parasol, so there's that. Murkrow is a lot of fun. It is kind of lacking in every department, but for a viewer pick, at 85 in offenses and 91 in speed, with the use of an Eviolite, I can't be upset about that. I love Murkrow. I'm really comfortable with Murkrow. It's like Honchkrow's scrawny, smart little brother. But I am happy with Murkrow. I'm really okay with this pick, and you guys really came through for me, so thank you. It does give us a 3rd Dark type, which, in my personal opinion, really doesn't matter a whole lot. Looking at Dark type weaknesses, you've got Fairy, which is covered up by Rotom, by Wheezing, by Tentacruel. And Aggron. Good God. You've got Fighting, which also really only affects Greninja, because Murkrow is... Okay, Murkrow takes neutral, but it's going to die anyway. It's got like 42 like defense. Come on. Sableye is immune, so awesome. Bug typing. Again, Sableye and Murkrow both take neutral from that. I'm okay with it. I can't think of any other Dark Weeks off the top of my head. I don't script. I'm sorry. So, yeah. Awesome. We're going to move on to our very first bench pick. Now, oh my god, I love this thing. I love this mon so much. We picked up Comfy, a.k.a. trying to get laid. I love Comfy. We really needed a fairy type, and it was really difficult to find one that I could afford with my remaining points. So I figured, you know, I've used Comfy before. I've overused Gardevoir, and I really don't want to stack up weaknesses like that. So we picked up Comfy. Comfy is so much fun, especially with Triage. Oh, God. Healing moves get priority? Yes, please. Give me that priority. Draining Kiss. Give me that priority Wish. Go ahead. Let me set up a Wish and die. It's basically just Healing Wish anyway. So, Comfy's coming through. It really doesn't do a whole lot outside of, you know, Triage and Cleric, but there are a couple really fun offensive sets. Calm Mind, Priority Draining Kiss. It's got a very nice special bulk, and it's surprisingly fast with, I'm sorry, as well as giving us another Pivot Mon. It does get U-turn for some strange reason that I'm definitely not complaining about. Comfy is where it's at. It's nice, it's cozy, it's comfy, it's just trying to get laid. But Comfy's going to fit in very nicely here. Again, only 2 weaknesses, easily counteracted by a bunch of mons. Poison, bam, we got a Sableye, we got a Weezing, we got a Tentacruel, we got a Aggron, awesome. Steel, let's be honest, like, why? Steel is a very not great offensive type, so we covered that one pretty easily. We are going to move on. Speaking of Steel, we got Solid Snake, the Steelix. Now, I dropped Minior for this thing. And, oh my lord, Minior is so cost-effective, so great. It was one of the cheapest mons to that you could have afforded. And with a Minior, that's pretty broken. Unfortunately, Minior also really helped give us a giant ice weakness, which luckily Steelix, I can't say Steelix counteracts, but it takes neutral damage from. Just as well, I really needed a ground type, and I really needed a excuse me, good lord, I really needed a ground type, and Steelix really helped cover up a lot of issues I had that I don't remember at this very moment. But it does give us another rocker. It does give us a nice bulky mon with that 200 base defense. Thank you, Steelix. As well as give us a lot of really fun tech like Roar, like Curse, like, again, Stealth Rock. As well as the much less variant of an offensive Sheer Force mon, which I feel like was very overlooked, especially in the draft format where you could really put in work with that. So Steelix is in here. Steelix is going to do some really fun stuff. It does give us a, let me count for a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, is that it? It does give us a 5th Fairy Resist, which is just amazing. And unfortunately, it has to remain on the bench since that's where I dropped the last mon from. Oh, Minior, yeah. It does have to remain on the bench because that's where Minior was. But again, we do get bench swaps, so Steelix can come right in as soon as the season starts up. So Steelix is going to be a lot of fun. It does give us access to Earthquake Stab now, which is one thing I was really worried about. I needed a ground type, did not feel comfortable without it, as well as, oh, it also gives us another Rock Resist, which I feel like my team was really lacking to begin with, especially with, so far, 2 flying types and a fire type. I really didn't want to give my opponent reasons to bring rocks every week, so Steelix is going to help us out there, as well as Aggron, which, let's be honest, why would I bring both in 1 week? That's stupid. We're going to move on to our very last mon, our very last bench mon. We picked up Ragavan the Ambipom. I forget what I dropped for him too, but I picked it up. Ambipom is, it's Ambipom. I really enjoy it. I do. To be completely honest, I could be a little better with it than I am, but hey, that's what practice is for, you know? Ambipom is really fast, it hits pretty hard, it's got a crazy good move pool, as well as access to Nasty Plot if you want to be cheeky, and it does, I think it's one of our only mons that has access to priority outside of like Sucker Punch. We got Sableye with Fake Out. We've got some other stuff. Greninja gets Shadow Sneak. Celebi gets Sucker Punch. Murkrow gets Sucker Punch. Okay, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Comfy has Draining Kiss. But Ambipom is going to be a ton of fun to work with. I love this little monkey. I love Ragavan. Anyone who plays Magic might get this. I don't know. It's not a very... I don't know if it's a well-known card. It just came out. Anyway, Ragavan is going to be putting in some pretty decent work. But as an overview, like as a whole, I'm liking this team a lot. I feel like it's much bulkier than what I'm used to. But at the same time, one thing my teams always seem to lack is bulk. I never seem to have a good switch in for anything, to be honest. But I think that that we can really help that out here. I think we can really change that around because we went for more of a bulky offensive type, and that's going to be a pretty fun change of pace for me, to be honest. Again, I really don't have much experience with this type of squad, but I think we can make it work. I love a lot of the mons here, and I think we've got some pretty great synergy going on. But, guys, that is going to be it for me. Stay tuned because, let me double check the date real fast. Friday, February 3rd. Is that the date? Yeah, February 3rd is when our Week 1 matches are going up. We have not yet had ours yet. God, I've said yet so many times. We haven't had the chance to have our match yet. But we'll be playing Potato Jim, and I am really looking forward to it. He seems like a really cool guy. Unfortunately, we haven't talked all that much. But I like to try to get to know everyone that I'm in a league with, so, you know, we can be cool, be friends, you know, shoot the shit. But I'm really looking forward to that. Stay tuned, guys. But until then, stay frosty.